Hello children, welcome to the class. This is your English grammar class and we are going to study today verbs. Verbs, as you all know, this is action words. And this is very simple topic, but it is very important to you to revise all the topics that are given in your English grammar book. And this is in your Mastering Grammar book, chapter number 9. So, let us start. Now the verbs. What are verbs? A verb is a word that is used to denote an action. It means it shows the action. Just like jump, play, eat, drink. These are all action words. So, these are called action word. And the condition of the subject or what is possessed by the subject. So what is possessed by the subject? This is also denote that. So these are called action words or verbs. So I'm going to give you some example. Before going to give an example, I would like to write a definition on the board. So just you go through this definition. A verb is a word that is used to denote an action. Now, this is very simple definition of a verb, that a verb is a word that is used to denote an action. For example, jump, eat, read. So here you can see jump is an action, eat is an action, and read is also an action. So a verb is word that is used to denote an action. These are all action words. And next part of this definition is the condition of the subject or what is possessed by the subject, or what is possessed by the subject. The first part of this definition shows that the word is denotes an action. Now the second part of the definition, we can see the condition of the subject or what is the possessed by the subject. What the subject is doing. If suppose the example, I am going to give you an example that Ram is reading a book. So here you can see example I am going to write, Ram is reading a book. Here you can see Ram is a subject and reading is a verb and this is object. So later we will talk about this object, but here you can see, if we will see only this part of sentence, then we will recognize this is subject and this is verb. This is called verb. Ram is doing something. Ram is reading. So reading is a verb. So the condition of the subject or what is possessed by the subject. Now here you can see Ram is a subject and he is reading a book. He is doing something. So what the subject is doing, that shows by the word. That word is called verb. One thing we have to always remember, no sentence can be formed without verb. It can be one or two, more than two, or more than one verb will be there. So this we have to always remember. It is very difficult to form any sentence without verb. So this is the main feature of a verb. Now, for example, Zoha studied in the night. So here you can see Zoha is a subject, study is a subject, this is verb. What is Zoha doing? She is studying. Now here this is verb. The next example, Sana likes biscuits. What Sana likes? Sana likes biscuits. So Sana here, subject. This is verb. So many times we cannot form a sentence without verb. So we are just moving on the basis of definition of verb. We are going to solve first exercise which are given in your Mastering Grammar book, page number 50. So we are going to solve this. Read the following sentences and underline the verbs. Page number 50 in your Mastering Grammar book, page number 50, exercise number A. Now here, Neha ran to the counter and bought the tickets. In first exercise number A and 1. Neha ran. Ran, we are going to underline it because it is verb. And the counter and bought the tickets. What she bought? Tickets. So here you can see bought. Bought is also an action or an action. So children, second sentence is she went to the pediatrician yesterday. So here we are going to underline went. In second, went. This is verb. In third, he is driving his car in the wrong lane. Driving. In fourth, my mother is suffering from a severe cold. Suffering. Fifth, she bought me a new book from the shop. Here the word is bought, which is verb. Now in sixth, Rita is a brilliant girl. Now here you can see no verb is there. We're just going to leave it. Now number 7. The Indian cricket team is playing against Australia today. Playing. Number 8. Stephen Hawking has a sharp mind. Has. Now after solving this exercise, we are going to move object of a verb. Now we are going to talk about object. So children, first we have to understand what are subject and what are object of the sentence. Now, object as it is called thing, object of a verb. This is our topic. Object of a verb. Suppose the example is the little boy is flying a kite. The little boy is flying a kite. Here you can see the subject is a little boy who is flying the kite. Before find out what is subject, we have to ask question. What question we are going to ask? We are going to ask who is flying the kite. Now here you can see the answer here. The little boy. This is subject of a sentence, and here you can see flying. Flying is verb or action, and what he is flying? Which object the doer is doing his work? At a kite. So this is called object. Object of a sentence. So this we have to always remember. A sentence must be having a subject, verb and object. Sometimes you cannot find an object because sometimes very simple word, the little boy flying, little boy jumping. So this way we can't find out object because the work is not going on particular object because the object is not there. So in this sentence you can see over here the little boy is a subject and then flying is a verb, and on which object the doer, this is doer, is doing his work. On which object? Kite. So this is called object of a verb. Next example, Neha kept the money carefully. Neha kept the money carefully. So the question we can ask, what Neha kept carefully? Money. So Neha becomes subject, and what she kept is a verb, and what she kept the money. Money is a object. Neha or Neha, what she kept? She kept money. So here you can see the verb is, the doer is doing verb on that object. This is called object. This is called object of a verb. Next example. The teacher praised the children. The teacher praised the children. Now here you can see praised what indicates the children. Praised what? What teacher praised? The teacher, subject, praised, verb, and what she praised? She praised children. This is object. The action is doing on that particular thing. So this is object. This is object of a verb. This is verb and this is object. Here you can see the relation between object and verb. So this is subject, this is verb, and action is doing on children. So this is object. Now, one more example I would like to give you. It will help you to understand what are object. Now, Stephen King writes novel. What she writes? Stephen King is subject because he is a doer. This is subject. And where is the action? Writes. This is verb. And what he writes? He writes novel. This is object. So this way we can understand object of a verb. The verb is here and object is there. So this is subject, this is verb and object. You can see over here the relation between subject, verb and object. So the doer, Stephen King is doer, and what he is doing? He is writing. This is verb. And what he writing? He writing novel. He is writing novel. He writes novel. So novel here, object of a verb. So children, after reading the definition of verb, after solving the exercise number A and object of a verb, we are moving forward in the kinds of verb. How many kinds of verb? Verb having two kinds, transitive and intransitive. But there is third kind of object, kind of verb is also there. This is incomplete. Now we are going to write transitive, intransitive, and incomplete. Transitive, intransitive and incomplete. So these are the kinds of verb. Now, Seema bought candles. The girl opened the door. In these sentences, the verb bought and opened do not make complete sense. Something must be added to each the sentence to complete the sense. Each requires an object. The word candles and the door are object. A verb which requires an object to complete its meaning is called transitive. If we are talking about transitive verb, so this type of words having a object, and it shows the action having an object. A verb which requires an object to complete its meaning is called a transitive verb. For example, she kept the money carefully, as we have already seen. She kept the money carefully. Now here you can see what she kept. She kept the money. Money is an object. So this is called transitive verb because the verb having an object. The doer is doing something on an object. So this is called transitive verb. The definition I am going to write on the board. You just go through it and learn also. Now the kinds of verb, first is transitive, intransitive and incomplete. So I'm going to write transitive verbs. Definition of transitive verbs. Transitive verbs, a verb which requires an object. An object to complete its meaning is called transitive. A verb which requires an object to complete its meaning. Without object, the sentence incomplete. So, a verb which requires an object to complete its meaning, that is called transitive verbs. Now, example I am going to give you. Now here you can see Sohan is flying a kite. If I am going to write Sohan is flying, so it is incomplete. And if I am adding a kite, so what he is doing? What Sohan flying? Flying a kite. So it gives meaning to a sentence. Without a kite is an incomplete. So if I am adding a kite with this sentence, so it becomes complete and it gives the meaning also. So here from the definition we can understand that Sohan is flying a kite. It gives the meaning of the sentence. So here you can see he is a doer. This is action or verb and this is object. And this is called transitive verb because the verb having object, that verb is called transitive verb. So always keep in mind, whenever you find a sentence which having object is called transitive verb. Sometimes the sentence having only one object, but sometimes what happened? The sentence having one or one more object. So that we are going to study today. More than one object, how we are going to recognize? Grandma baked a cake for me. Now here you can see grandma is a subject or doer. What she is baked? What baked? Baked is action. And a cake. What she baked? She baked cake. For whom? For me. This is object and this is also object. Now here you can see this is direct object and this is indirect object because the cake was baked by grandma, so this is called direct object. And for me, this is indirect object. This we have to always remember. If a sentence having two objects, so on which the sentence is emphasized, that become direct object and the second object is become indirect object. So this concept we have to learn. Now, next example I am going to give. Rita wrote a letter to Rahul. Rita wrote a letter to Rahul. Now here you can see Rita is doer, wrote is verb, and what Rita wrote? She wrote a letter. This is direct object. And to whom? To Rahul. This is indirect. Because the action is doing directly on that object. This is called direct object and indirectly to Rohan. It moves to Rohan. So, to Rahul, it is indirect object. So, this way we can understand what are direct object, what is indirect objects. Now, on the basis of transitive verbs, we are going to solve exercise number B. Read the following sentences, underline the verb and circle the object in each sentence. A few sentences have both direct and indirect object. So we have to recognize which are direct object and which are indirect objects. Now, first Girish painted the cottage. So Girish is a subject, painted is a verb, and cottage is object. So we have to underline the verb, circle the object in each sentence. First is painted. We have to circle it, and then cottage. This we are going to underline, circle it, and underline the verb and circle the object. Now second, he won a prize. He won a prize. Now here you can see won is a verb and this is object. Now let's move to number 3. The farmer plowed the land. Farmer plowed the land. Here you can see this is action, the land is object. Fourth is the strong wind rattled the window. The strong wind rattled the window. Now here you can see rattled is a verb and the window is object. Now we are moving to next. Next is the cat ate the fish. Fifth is the cat ate the fish. Here you can see ate is action verb and fish is object. Sixth, my niece plays a flute. So this is verb and this object. Seventh, the soldier attacked the enemy. The soldier attacked the enemy. Now here you can see attacked is verb and an enemy on the enemy is object. Now we are moving to eighth. My mother boiled potatoes for me. Potatoes for me. Now here you can see boiled is a verb, potato is a direct object, for me is indirect object. So in this sentence we are having two objects. 9 we are going to do. 9 is the jeweler gave the necklace to her. The jeweler gave the necklace to her. Now here you can see gave is a verb. This is direct object, and to her is indirect object. Now next, number 10, the dentist filled the tooth. The dentist filled the tooth cavity for her. Again, this sentence having two objects. Filled is verb, tooth is direct object, and tooth cavity is direct object and her is indirect. So this way we have completed the exercise. We just write down and circle it and underline the verb and circle the verb, the object and direct object and indirect object. So this way we have to complete the exercise. So tomorrow we will study intransitive verb and incomplete verbs. So till then, bye-bye and take care and revise the chapter again and learn the definition also.